So, what I want to cover is some of the attack trends that we're seeing these days. And impersonations of law firms seems to be the flavor of the month at the moment. The threat actors are getting far more sophisticated and they're really targeting, accounts payable with emails that look like an entire thread has gone back and forth between a law firm, an example, debt recovery portion of that law firm, and the accounts payables manager. There's an entire thread quite often attached to the email or the bottom half of the email that is entirely fabricated. So while the accounts payable person thinks that this conversation has happened with their manager, it never has. There was a recent case, a very sophisticated case, where there was a claim of a phone call back and forth. The email, the reply to address being used was a lookalike domain of a prominent law firm, but had an extra S in the name. So once the reply occurred and the conversation occurred, the victim here thought they were actually dealing with the debt recovery law firm here. The domain registered for this attack was registered just a couple of days before the attack, and there were multiple signals in this email that made it stand out if you know where to look. The final invoice that was attached was actually generated in Canva. So it was never coming from a real invoicing tool, but to the average user, the average target here, they think this is a legitimate request to have an invoice paid, and they go ahead and pay it based on the email thread and conversation that's occurred.